Please welcome to the stage the whole crew. We have Matt Lederer as our moderator, joined by Karen Kovacs, Rochell, Kuch, maybe, Ali Kuch, and Lauren Fritts. So please give them a hand.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. We as a group want to thank Christian McCaffrey for being our opening act because we felt that was the appropriate way to start this panel off. Let me get started with just some really quick introductions, and then we're going to jump into a really interesting panel that, I've been coming to Super Bowls for 15 years, and the fact that we're going to talk about content creators as part of Super Bowl, All-Star Game, Olympics, is just a testament to how far this model, this economy, and these personalities have moved. So, directly to my right, Karen Kovacs, President, Advertising and Partnerships at NBCUniversal. Allison Kuch, I'm skipping one, sorry, because it's the order of the paper, is a content creator, 3.5 million followers on TikTok, as she documents her life as the wife of a former NFL player. Surprise! Next to her is the former NFL player, Rochell. Also very active on TikTok, has his own podcast called Don't Worry, I'll Ask. And finally, at the end, Lauren Fritts. Lauren is the Vice President of Consumer Marketing for Visa. And we're here today because of a very interesting partnership that NBCUniversal and Visa have done together heading into this massive month of content that we have here. So I want to start with sort of a question for everybody, and we'll go down the line answering it. I sort of alluded to the fact that we are here talking about content creators and the content creator economy as part of the Super Bowl is fascinating. It's no longer about single post paying type of thing. So from each of your points, how has the content creator economy evolved, and where are the opportunities going forward? And Karen, I'll start with you.
Sure. Well, at NBC, right, we create culture, we report on culture, we're thinking about culture all the time. And now suddenly content creators are the access into culture, right? Fans act on, discover, think about culture really through the lens of creators. And it's really changed the way that we think about storytelling. And that's also happening at a time when you're seeing a generation consume media differently, right? Social has become super important as a part of storytelling, and you see incredible creators used to focus on short form, suddenly using long form, suddenly using live. And then you also have talent, sports talent, entertainment talent, who used to focus on long form, now experimenting with short form. All of that has just changed the entire media ecosystem. So of course, publishers and premium video companies like NBCUniversal, who are in the center of that, have an opportunity to really bring more fans and more consumers in by thinking about either talking to our talent and giving them the opportunity to connect, or working with really smart, thoughtful storytellers like yourselves to bring consumers in. But it's really all about the fans, because when they consume entertainment or sports, this kind of content is now, it can't be distinguished, right, between what was actually just the content itself and then the entire conversation around it.
Yeah, such good points. And I heard a couple words that I think are really important. So storytelling, connection. And I think what that really speaks to is when you say, like, where's it going to go? Where's content going to go, especially these relationships? I think it's getting to a point where it is all about relationships. Like, us making videos for NBC or for whoever else is not just a check-the-box thing for us. It's more of how can we create long-standing relationships or create long-standing relationships. We've worked with a number of brands, and again, it's like we know the marketing teams, we know the people that are involved, and it's becoming so much deeper than just creating content. So I think it's going to become more personable as everybody's spending hours on their phones, creating parasocial relationships, which I do also, by the way. Even as a creator, I have a lot of parasocial relationships. I think now the advertisement piece of it and the content piece of it is going to meet that. It's going to become more relationship driven. And luckily, we get to experience it firsthand with, partners like NBC. So just thankful for that as the actual creator, because it makes our job more fun.
Yeah. I mean, from more of a personal perspective, my husband, while he was playing in the NFL the first few years, I was interested, but I felt like there was a huge gap. Like, you can watch the game online, you can hear about the big name guys, the big contracts, but I was like, what about everything that's happening off the field that I find to be extremely captivating, emotional? There's stories being lost. So I kind of took it upon myself to start storytelling just our own journey with my husband switching teams and what happens when they cut a roster from 90 guys to 53. And I saw that people were really captivated by it just as much as I was. And then it started to involve in working with brands. And I was like, wait, I can do this way beyond the NFL. And now this year we're headed to the Olympics. So I just feel like it's such a way to invite people in to stories that they normally don't get to see because they're not those big headline name guys. And it's just a behind the scenes that I think everyone's interested in.
I think the only thing I'll add, I co-sign all of this as it relates to how consumers experience creators, but I think also for Visa, because creators are driving culture and culture drives commerce, we're also really thinking of them not just as conduits to reach our consumer, but also they're one of the fastest growing segments of small businesses. So we really also think of creators as small businesses, and the way we work with them and hear about their pain points and then build products and solutions to support them is kind of another part of the mix for this on us.
Yeah, that's a great point. And Allison and Isaac, you guys are also opening up the game, in this case, to new and different audiences, right? Like, Allison, I'm going to assume the people following you and engaging with your content are probably a lot different than wanting to know 4-3 or 3-4 defense and those types of things, but you've expanded the game to a whole new audience by default. So that's really great stuff that you guys are both doing. Yeah. Karen, NBCUniversal, multi-platform, storytelling brand, broadcast, social, streaming, we're all over the place. What's the role of content creators in that model? And how are you working with, and maybe in some cases, coaching up brands on how to take full advantage of those opportunities?
We have been a leader in the creator space for a while. And here's why, right? We have these incredible, like we talked about, Olympics, Super Bowl. We actually have red carpet. We have BravoCon, right? We have all of this incredible content and brands, and couple that with the scale, couple that with just the incredible resources that we have at a Comcast NBCUniversal to really bring to life all of these unique opportunities to the fans. A watershed moment for us was around the Paris Olympics. We had a creator-collector program where we had over 20 creators come to Paris and really see everything from behind the scenes firsthand. Social exploded for NBC Sports in the Paris Olympics in a way we had never really seen, right? There were over, I think, 6 billion impressions just across NBC handles. And it really was, like I said, a watershed moment. It really changed the way that we think about storytelling and we bring in creators into the equation. So now, again, this is such an incredible opportunity for us to do two things. Bring the two of you to Milan, because I do think it's actually Milan and Super Bowl to be able to bring that story to life, really connect with and make that emotional connection with your community, super important. For NBC, we certainly benefit because, like you said, we're connecting with fans in a way, the casual fans. Again, I'm listening to the podcast, and you're bringing to life the behind the scenes in a way that is just really resonates with someone who maybe isn't connecting with NBC. Yes, please all watch linear and watch Peacock, right, and do all the things. But it just broadens it. And then brands, right, like Lauren said, right, there are ways to tap in and make that emotional connection with the scale, with the support of all of both sets of communities behind, and it really provides a good stage, I think, not only for awareness, but also to have measurable brand impact. So that's the only way it makes sense for Visa, really, to be a part of it.
Yeah, so let's go to that, Lauren. Why are you here? What's the partnership with NBC about? Why is Visa, who we've all seen the great advertising that Visa has done for years, this is something new and different for you. So why the collaboration with NBC, And what are you? How is this work that you're doing different than your other media mix that you have in the marketplace?
So, I mean, it's no surprise. I don't think that brand platforms are necessarily the ones that are algorithmically driven in social. And so as we want to reach consumers, we really need to think about how we do that through these creators that can lend more of that conversational voice and really bring our brand to life. A big part of our social strategy is taking all of these incredible partnerships we have, whether it be Super Bowl, Olympics, what have you, and bring fans closer to that. So kind of living off of the everywhere you want to be. We want fans to feel like they're inside that and a part of that, but I think they want to hear it through the voice of someone who's also a fan. And so that's why the partnership here really allows us to storytell so that it feels more conversational, versus kind of an advertising message that's coming from Visa. So especially in the situation of our partnership with NBCU here, the chance to do that and to bring people along in the through line that allows them to start to see the stories that these guys are telling on our behalf at Super Bowl and then carry it through Milan. I think we feel like it's going to help people stay engaged and, really both in their channels and ours.
What about from a measurement perspective? When this partnership is done or you've executed, how are you going to measure the success or fail of this type of effort?
Yeah, I mean, we have some tools that we use to look at hit rates and engagement and things of that nature, but I think it all comes back actually to, are we building a long-term relationship with these guys? And are there things that we're going to be able to do together to keep making 1 + 1 = 3? Because creators, again, as small businesses, are important to us also from a commerce standpoint. So the more that we can demonstrate that Visa is really leading in the creator economy, not just in how we're using these creators to drive our social channels, but also how we're really providing solutions for them as small businesses, that's really our ultimate aim is to, yes, reach our consumer, hit them with the message that feels very fan forward, but also be the leading payment provider that's supporting creators as small businesses.
Karen, are you feeling brands are getting that? Is that type of tone coming through from more brands than it did a year ago? Or are you still coaching brands as to what this value is about?
No, I think brands are absolutely getting it. I mean, we're seeing it again from BravoCon to the Olympics, right? They want to be a part of the conversation. So, but I think one of the important things is finding the relationship in an authentic way, right? I think representing the values and just the storytelling in the community. I'm sure there's a lot of thought from both, I know from our standpoint, but also the brands that we team up with, to make sure that we are providing just a really authentic, trusted matchup of the brands. Yeah.
So we've talked a lot about relationships, authenticity. So Isaac and Allison, a brand or a media company comes to you. They want to do a partnership. I'm going to assume you're not just saying yes right away. What is it about that relationship from a brand standpoint and your community that you've built that gets you to working with a brand? How does that process work for the two of you?
Yeah, well, I think ultimately you want to work with brands that you have good relationships with. And so I think now as we've grown, and I say this humbly because my wife has built a great following that's helped my following, but we've built a following that gives us a little bit more freedom, right, when it comes to choosing brands. So now we absolutely prioritize relationships. I won't say the brands because it doesn't matter, but we just recently had a situation with 2 brands that were in the same industry, and it was so easy to decide to do a deal with the brand that we had a relationship with. So I don't know if that's a perfect answer. It's just where it's going, right? It's all about relationships. Like Lauren, you mentioned, it's not about just metrics. It's not about how many views. It's about how does this translate? How is this story told? Does it connect with the viewer? And so then as a creator, we try to be the mirror to that and say, okay, how can we give ourselves the best opportunity to do that? So I hope that makes sense, but
I think what goes into us having a good relationship with a brand in the first place is them trusting us as well to not only storytell the talking points that they want to come across, but also to believe that we built this community and we know how they're going to resonate with the content that we put out. And I feel like what goes into those good relationships with these brands are them trusting us and us trusting them, that we can it's like let creators create and storytell to the best of their ability, and then I feel like that's a happy marriage.
Are you finding yourself teaching brands? No, because because I know we've been guilty of it on the Xfinity side. We want to work with a content creator. Here's our commercial. Post that. And we've heard loud and clear that's not the right way. Do you find yourself, A, helping brands out, like this is the way to be speaking? And then second, how do you use community reaction to decide, like, yeah, we should keep doing this, or, you know what, maybe this wasn't the right thing for our community?
Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. I'll go first. You go ahead and go.
No, you got it.
Okay. I think as far as like creating content, like going forward and reacting and pivoting based on what our audience says and how they react, I think it's a huge part of what we do. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the beauty, and my wife just mentioned it. We're trying to choose brands that allow us to do that, right? Like the relationship becomes difficult and the content becomes difficult if the brand is doing as you just described. And then the other side of it is, are we working with the brands and giving them advice? I think in our perfect world, every brand would say, hey, here's our general concept. Why don't we have a quick brainstorm? A lot of our calls are briefing calls where they're, presenting the brief. It would be more helpful to actually, brainstorm. But again, because of what my wife's done and what we've been able to build together, we have a lot more freedom. And generally, we're choosing brands that give us the most freedom.
I've found that as the creator space has grown, I feel like even just over the past few years, brands are way more receptive to it now. They're not like, hey, go create a commercial. You guys know how to create a commercial. I want to help you come across as authentic, and I want it to be relatable, and I want it to be easily digestible. And I think brands are way more receptive to that. And on these briefing calls, I think are super important, because then we're able to spitball back and forth like, hey, this is a general idea, this is our general idea, and then you come together to find the perfect medium.
Real quick, I'm sure you guys deal with legal teams, though, which is where that's the difficulty that we have. Like, we'll have these great concepts, the marketing team loves it, and then it goes to the next layer, which is, does this check every box from a legal standpoint? And that's where it generally becomes complicated.
I do think you made a point about long-term, because the relationships, and once you find them, they become magic, right? Because then you know how to tackle the legal hurdles. You have a sense of the voice. You have a sense of the sensibility, and whether it's the first 6 months, but year 1, year 2. It really starts to gel. And then I also think from what we've seen, right, then the community really engages too. Right. So that's cool.
That last part, we see that as well.
Yeah.
We typically just have somebody post it, and then when legal yells at us, we say, these damn content creators, they didn't get the approval.
Yeah, it's too late.
Shoot first, ask questions later.
Yeah.
So
I'm convinced legal teams don't sleep. That's my opinion.
So this weekend, Milan is different than, hey, I got to create a video for brand A. How are you two going to look at, like, okay, this is a moment, there's scale, there's reach, I want to capture this for my community? How does that type of thinking go on this weekend versus maybe, okay, I got briefed by this brand, let me brainstorm, let me figure something out? What's the difference this weekend on the way you're going to decide on what content works? I'm letting you two decide who answers it. I'm not getting involved.
Okay, how about I start? No, I think for us, this is like the best thing that a brand can do is put us in environments, right? So like when we're in our house and we get a briefing call and we have to make an ad in our house, there's way less content that a brand's gonna receive. They're gonna receive the deliverable. In a situation like this is like a playground, right? We're in another country, we're bringing our family. So it's not just the Olympics. It's trying the food, it's engaging with Milan, it's just doing everything around it. So for us, we try to make it as holistic as possible. We have our deliverables, but we want to add on to that as much as possible by posting stories and just being around the city. So this is a really easy example of how to be successful from a content perspective.
Yeah, I think this is like my ideal situation, right? Like I'm being put in an environment and I love storytelling. So I'm not just going to go to the Olympics and show me at the Olympics and who I'm partnering with and that's that. You're going to see me going to the Super Bowl. You're going to see my feet hurting after the Super Bowl. You're going to see me getting up in the morning and packing way too late or way too early. You're going to see me going to the airport. You're going to see me on the flight. I want to capture everything. And then when you see me working with these brands, like it's all encompassing and it's more so a part of my life. And that's why I've said yes to this brand deal. And just telling the full picture, I think also it becomes way more digestible. It's easily received, and it's really authentic too. So I feel like these are like the situations I'm so excited for.
All right, Lauren, let's talk brand talk now. What is it about the audiences of Allison and Isaac in this case, or others, that is making Visa jump into this space? How is consumer segmentation playing a role in your decision to go bigger in these spaces?
Yeah, I mean, we have a kind of audience profile of Nurturing Next that we talk about, which is really about reaching that next generation of consumer and continuing to fill that pipeline and make sure they have a relationship with Visa. They know we're a trusted brand, a secure brand. But I think, again, part of what we're trying to do with our, social channels in particular is help people, connect on kind of an emotional level to Visa and the idea of everywhere you want to be. We're a brand that stands for progress and getting there through small steps. And so with the Olympics in particular, the platform we're using to engage is this idea of it takes a village, because all of these athletes are there, but when you talk to all of them, they will tell you they could have not gotten there without all the people that helped them on those small steps as they were progressing towards this moment. And so when we think about, working with these guys, it's saying, okay, how do we take that idea of it takes a village, and like traveling with your family is going to take a village. You get, and letting them, we actually don't even brief anymore. We call them guides. I hope that that's a good evolution that you guys have seen from us. But again, just helping them tell that story and connect with that audience in a way that will allow all the other organic social that we're doing on our channels to feel like it all matches, so that the consumer's hearing a really coherent story from Visa, and it doesn't feel like, okay, we're talking to the next generation, and here's what Visa's saying, and then creators are saying this. Like, we really want there to be, we'll call it that like blue thread of Visa, and we think that's going to be the most compelling way to kind of drive that emotional connection in the social space and really make Visa feel more human to our consumer.
But to a different audience than maybe is watching the TV spots that are going to air on NBC.
Yeah, and obviously social's been a big part of our mix, or organic and paid. I think you'll see we're moving even more in that direction, and that's why the partnership with NBCU reflects the fact that they understand that we want a mix that is not just a traditional mix. So we'll keep pushing all of our media partners to innovate with us in that way. Hopefully we're still going to create amazing, iconic, compelling advertising to reach the masses through these amazing events. But, more and more we're looking at, what's the specific cohort that we're trying to move, and what's the message that's going to move them, and then where's the medium we're going to reach them. And I mean, everybody knows that's increasingly in the digital and social space, so we have to be there.
And this for Visa is more than just the big moments. This is I'll call it always-on marketing tactic.
Absolutely. That's exactly what we're moving to.
Great. All right, Karen. So we're heading into the big game, Milan. Brands are everywhere. Who are you seeing out there that, other than Visa, because they're doing a great job, who's out there right now doing a great job this weekend? Who are you excited to see come to life the next couple of weeks?
Even just here, and we were just talking about that. I guess if you were here a week ago, the entire city would have looked different. The idea of building experiences right now is part of the storytelling, right? Because it's part of the storytelling, because then it becomes a content factory. Not only are you creating an experience and touching and reaching out to those who come in, but then you're also, you benefit from the storytelling and the interpretation of the experience. So I know, so being here at Super Bowl, like, I'm curious to see what EA Sports is doing, right? Like, so EA Sports is, just that we have no association with it, but I think the fact that they're coming to Super Bowl and they are having their biggest footprint here, and I know actually Visa is powering it, so I've just been sort of studying that and seeing, like, okay, these are not just games now. These are moments that all of the parallel brands, that are adjacent, right, can be all interwoven, and you can build experiences around it, but then you can bring people in and you can storytell around it. So I'm really excited over the next 3 days to just, sometimes we all act like the consumer, right, in order to see it and live it ourselves. And there's so much going on this weekend, and I hope you all get a chance to do it, but I'm excited, even Lauren, to hear what you think about
and
it.
actually, exactly to Isaac, your point about being in these playgrounds and being able to over-deliver versus, just a certain advertising deliverable, because we are presenting Madden Bowl, these guys will be part of that as well, not just
Yeah.
through the things that we're doing
Yeah,
with
it's
you
great.
at NBCU. So
Of course.
we can take all the unique things that Visa is doing with the Bay Area Host Committee or EA or NBCU or the Super Bowl experience and our Visa print shop. And these guys get to touch all of that. And then I think the hope is that the takeaway from the consumer that's seeing all that is like, wow, did Visa take over the Super Bowl? They were everywhere, and that's the goal.
Yeah. We want to see your dinosaurs too, though, right?
Well, I mean, it's,
Comcast
listen,
has a lot going on this weekend as well.
Yeah, we do, and the Xfinity brand has done an amazing job with the Jurassic Park spot that'll air. And I was telling these guys before, we brought a baby tango, I think is how we refer to it,
Nice.
over to Radio Row, and it was amazing to watch NFL players swarm over to a dinosaur, and everybody would ask the same question, which is that a real dinosaur? And by the end, we just started saying, yeah, it's a real dinosaur, of course it is. So yeah, but to your point, same thing. This is not about one sponsorship, one spot. It's about that thread throughout. Otherwise, you get lost in the noise
Exactly.
of so many other brands, doing things. You need to be consistent. So let's talk. I got 2 quick questions in our time left. So Milan, San Francisco, what are you most excited to see and or share with people over the next couple of weeks? We'll start.
Guys.
Go ahead, you start. Lauren.
Oh, hot seat. Well, I think what I would say is like already seeing some of the athlete social media popping from over in Milan. It just was such a reminder of how amazing that content has been and how these athletes, like they're amazing athletes and you'd think that'd be enough, but they're actually really interesting content creators too. And so I love watching that and like seeing more of that in my feed, and it, just humanizes them in a way that's getting me so excited to, go there and watch them do the craft that is actually their craft. But yeah, I think there's so, especially this month, there is just so much sports content to consume that hopefully it means for creators and brands and everyone, like the bar is going to be high to get the attention. And so everybody better be on their A game.
And tune into the opening ceremonies on NBC tomorrow night.
Yeah, I think I'm excited to take it all in, but I'm also excited for not only the Super Bowl, figure skating. I'm like, that's something I get to watch on TV, and I'm so excited to go and see it in person, but also like captivating the story of like what's happening, like when they're on the rink. Is it quiet in the stadium arena? Like what's going on that you're not getting as a viewer when just watching it on TV?
I love that. And, maybe we'll do
And
a
I'm
little
excited for the
stadium food taste test. Yeah, I'm like, I know my wife loves food. I do too. I think what I'm most excited for, quick story, grew up in Georgia. I grew up on a farm in Georgia, small town. And I would watch the Olympics, the Winter Olympics specifically, and it seemed like just so, like, not the life I was living. I mean, we got snow once every 2 years, and everything shut down. So for people to be functioning in it, I'm like, I don't understand this. So for me, being able to do this after everything we've done, my NFL career, building the platform that we have, this is my Super Bowl, being able to do this. So I'm excited to see it. Everything that my wife described, spot on. What does the rink smell like? What is it even? Give me all the details. I want to know all of it. So it's just really cool. And my daughter's going to be with us. It doesn't get any better than that.
I love that. I have a different vantage point because I pinch myself every day. This is my job, right? So I get to go to the Super Bowl, then we go to Milan. There are thousands of people who are behind the scenes making all of this happen, and I'm so proud to work with them. And I will give a shout out to Mike Tirico, who will be covering the Super Bowl, then he will get on a plane and he will go to Milan and cover the Olympics. And I'm not sure any iconic broadcaster has actually done all of those things at one time. And it's unbelievable. So this legendary February moment for our company, and to have someone like Mike Tirico just representing us, the work, the effort, the passion, the care that goes into that, like sports reporting and storytelling is awesome. I don't know how else to say it. I was very proud
what he's going to be
to talk
doing the
about
next
that.
few weeks is absolutely amazing.
Incredible.
And he's going to be doing it in a first-class manner. That's unbelievable. All right, so this question was not on the little cheat sheet they gave me, but it's really important to me. Who's winning Sunday? Everybody's got to pick. Who wants to start?
Well, as I understand
Straight
it,
up. You don't have to get the point spread.
as I understand it, the last 2 times the Seahawks have won, there has been a new pope
A new
recently
pope.
named. So I think it's the Seahawks.
My husband's rooting for the Seahawks, so I have to root for the Patriots.
That's marriage 101, right? You know, you just disagree to disagree. Yeah, I'm gonna go Seahawks. I love you too.
I'm from New York, so you know I'm going for the Seahawks.
Same, for the same exact reason. So let's give it up for our panel. Thank you.